Hi everyone. It's Bina Kavalam. I am excited to have you here with me today, and I want to welcome you to Get to Goal, setting the strategy for your success. And so I want to welcome you to one of my Get to Goal seminars. And this is a complimentary workshop that I am leading for the Personal Revolution community, which is my tribe of like-minded professionals. These are folks who are, who are sick and tired of feeling overlooked and, frankly, underappreciated at work and in their lives. They do great work and they expect that work to be recognized and rewarded, but often it's not. And so our community is here to offer both career strategies and mindset support. So personal revers, which is what we call ourselves, yes, personal revers, can thrive in their careers and most importantly in their lives. So before we begin, I want to give a big shout out to all of the new personal revers who have joined us because of this webinar. So if you have some friends that you think would love to be a part of our community, we would love to have them. So just send them over to www.coachbina.com and have them sign up for my success strategies on the main page. Once they're confirmed their subscription, they're in. So if you have signed up for this webinar and you're thinking, I don't know if I have signed up for my subscription, check your inbox, look for an email from Bina Kavalam, and see it should be entitled Confirm Your Subscription. And just open that up, click on the link inside there, and you're set. That's all it is to join our community and to get all of the benefits that come. Membership does have its privileges. So if you're interested and you would like to continue to be a part of our community and get all the benefits, I hope that you'll confirm your subscription, and it's completely free to be a part of our community. So I hope you'll be in. So with that, let's jump right in. And so I'm going to head on to the next page. Oops. Okay. Having slight technical difficulties, so do apologize if that's the case. Okay, so 5 simple strategies for your most successful 2015. So if you're like a lot of us, you probably make New Year's resolutions each year. Did you know that 25 of us abandon our New Year's resolutions after just 1 week? 60% of us after 6 months, and 92% of us don't ever meet our goals that we set out for in the beginning of the year. So if you're sitting there nodding with agreement right now, yeah, that's kind of me. You're not alone. It happens to a lot of us. But you're here for a reason, and that puts you ahead of the game of all the other folks that are just kind of waiting until New Year's starts. So I'm going to show you some ways to make your 2015 goals a reality. So before we get started, I want you to make sure you have a notebook and a pen. So I know I put that in the invite, so make sure you have one of those, a notebook and a pen, because remember, this is a workshop. We're going to have those ready so that you can take notes and do the exercises along with me. I want you to get the most out of today's workshop. Don't just watch the slides and multitask when you're doing this. Please be present and try to minimize all the distractions during this presentation. Be here and be present. If you're going to spend the hour, you might as well spend the hour and get something good out of it, okay? So the other key thing too is that I want you to bring your A game. Stop, I know if it's been a long day and you've probably had a full day of work before this and you're probably tired. So I want you to just know that this is a safe space and that we're here to support one another. And that's the reason I'm offering this webinar, is because I want you to learn from this. I want you to get some strategies that are going to help you in 2015. Because, you don't want to live the same type of life that you were living last year, right? Where, you were probably making your New Year's resolutions and they were the exact same New Year's resolutions as last year. We don't want that for you. So be here, be present, bring your A game, and I promise to bring you mine, okay? All right, so with that, I want you to remember that the personal revolution community is all about supporting one another. So, I know it might feel uncomfortable to talk about your dreams because, they're very personal. These are what we want and what we hope for and aspire to for ourselves. But it's important that you do. It's important that you share this so that we can support you because it's really hard to do it alone. So please do share. I'm going to have some opportunities where you can put some things in the chat box right next door. So if you can see the inbox right now, if you can see the screen, there should be a comment tracker right there where you can actually see the any comments or any questions that you have. Just put in the comment tracker, and I'll be able to see that. Okay. So with that, I'm going to start to move on. If you have any questions or anything, just remember, put them in the chat room. Right now, I'm going to keep moving on and plugging away. And because of time, I'm probably going to limit the number of questions I answer during our during the presentation part, but there'll be an opportunity at the very end for you to ask some questions. Okay? All right, let's jump right in. Next slide. Great. Okay. So what is one goal that if you accomplished, it would dramatically increase your life happiness? I want you to think about that. We all think about goals and we all have our dreams and goals for what we want to accomplish. But what is one goal that if you accomplished it would dramatically increase your life happiness? It's probably one of the goals that you have on your to-do list right now, on your New Year's resolution list already. So I'm going to have you put that in the comments. If you don't mind, please put that in the comments so we can see them. And I'm going to share mine at this point with you. And so, you know what? It's going to take a little bit of time for us to get the comments up on my screen. So feel free, put your comments in, and you know what? I'll say a little bit, and then we'll come back to see what's your goal. But I want you to interact here, guys. Please bring your A game. All right. So for me, my goal for 2015 is all about getting more energy and getting more healthy in 2015. I got to tell you, I've been traveling for the last 6 months, speaking around the country with the Get Gravitas events, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But I got to admit, it's been running myself a little ragged. I come back from these trips and I'm normally sick. I either get sick on the flight or just because I meet so many new people. And, sometimes it'll take me a week to recover from bronchitis, or I even in the summer had the flu, and it took me almost 3 weeks to recover from that. And so it's been a pretty icky year for Bina. And 2015 is all about getting healthier. And, what that means, I'm going to kind of get a little bit more clear about that as we talk through the rest of the seminar today. But it's about getting healthier. And that's what it means for me. So what is it for you? Feel free to put your comments in the chat room here. All right, let's see. All right, so nothing has come through yet, and it could be a delay in our system here. So I'm gonna ask that you do think about it. Write your one goal down in your notebook. Okay, so grab that notebook of yours and make sure you write it in there. And I'm going to keep going through this unless I see some questions, and I actually don't right now. So or comments. So I'm going to keep moving on. Okay. So here's what you're going to learn in this training. We're going to talk about, what do successful people do who achieve their goals? What do they do differently? We'll talk about 5 simple strategies for living your best 2015 and a solution for getting back on the success track. But first, before we do that, I want to share with you my experience, because there's a lot of new folks on the line who may not know me. And so I want to share a little bit about my background. I started my career off as a management consultant with Accenture, helping Fortune 500 companies with business process design. You know, it was a challenging job with long hours, but I got to tell you, I learned so much about business, about strategy, and even about myself. But I realized I wanted to learn more about business, real business. And so I went to business school at NYU Stern, and I loved it. I was meeting new people. I got to travel and study abroad in Australia, which was so awesome. And I ended up switching careers into brand management and working for Bayer Consumer Care on the Bayer aspirin and the Flintstones vitamins brands. And then moving out to Colorado to work with White Wave Foods on International Delight, which is a coffee creamer. And I helped launch the iced coffee brands. And, you know, it was okay. Life was okay. But I could tell that something was missing. You know, I realized I really like brand management, but it wasn't my passion. You know, when you get so excited about something that it just lights you up inside, that you can't stop thinking about it. You're so energized and you feel so excited about going to work every day. Well, I was not feeling that. That was just not what I was feeling every day. In fact, I was just kind of plugging away. And I kept plugging away, you know, because I didn't know what my passion was at the time. And then I was in an accident, and that changed everything. You know, I was there lying in my hospital bed, and I remember, you know, really being at a low point, a true nadir in my life. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, if this was the end, would anyone remember me? Right? Would I have been mattered? And when I thought about it, I couldn't really think of the impact I'd made on the world. And that was really humbling. That was really heartbreaking, actually, because I remember thinking, I want more from my life. And I can't just stop and not leave a legacy. And then, you know, I'm lying there, it's 2 a.m, and I remember getting this glimmer of hope. Change 1 million lives by the year 2020. That idea just came to me. And I would love to say that it was my own brilliance, but I'm sure it wasn't. It was some other force that came through me that moment when I most needed it. And that was it. I realized at that moment that I would change 1 million lives by the year 2020, and I would do everything I could. I had no idea that I would start a company and you know, coach people and do all this. And that all came afterwards. But it was that moment when I realized that my life does have meaning. And I literally, and we'll talk about this in a minute, is I found my why. I found that I could have this mission in my life. And so after, you know, that little phrase that was popped into my head, that got me out of the hospital bed, that got me, you know, starting to my coaching training and building my business, and ultimately leaving corporate America to speak around the country and coach people and, you know, do something that feels really fulfilling and that I'm making an impact. And I got to tell you, one of the biggest joys that I get today, biggest joys, are getting these thank you notes or getting an email from someone I may have met at a speaking event or somebody who I work with and telling me how something I wrote or said or taught them made an impact on them. That was the true joy for me. I gotta tell you, there's nothing that's better than that for me. So I want to get each and every one of you to feel that passion, whether it be in your careers, your personal lives. I want you to feel so happy, feel that joy that comes from doing what you love. And so I don't want you to just settle for a meh life, okay? None of that shrugging, all right? This is time for a big, powerful, amazing life that's just around the corner in 2015. So are you ready? Because I am, and I can't wait. All right? So let's get started. All right, so the first strategy for 2015, getting to that success that you want, is get a goal you want. Now, this might seem for a lot of us like that's a no-brainer, Bina. But I gotta admit, for a lot of us, we choose goals based on what other people tell us. Sometimes we set a goal like, oh, I need to lose 15 pounds or I need a better paying job because of pressures from other people or or just the culture or the environment. We got to figure out, we need to stop for a moment and realize, hey, what does this mean for me? Do I even really deep down want to do this? Because if you subconsciously do not want to do something, you're going to find a way to quit, to drop out, to self-sabotage in some way. So I want you to stop and think right now. Do I really want that goal that I wrote down at the beginning of this call? Okay. So hopefully you've made a decision and you've decided that either yes, you want to get that goal and it's meaningful to you and you want it, or you need a better goal. Okay. So the other key thing is that what I do is I find it helpful. If you're having trouble here, I find it helpful to write down my core values and then figure out a goal from my core values. So I know what you're thinking. Mina, I haven't really thought about my core values. Well, now is your chance. So we're going to start doing that. We're going to go right into that. So next slide. Okay, great. So it's time to choose your values. Decide what's important in your life. Okay. So identify your core values. And then this is an exercise. So I'm going to ask each of you to do this exercise with me, and it's going to take about 3 minutes. So if in your notebook, what I want for each of you is to write down these questions in your notebook and then leave a little space in between. Okay? So I'll read them to you. What are 3 things you most like about yourself? What are 3 things you least like about yourself? Who is the happiest person you know and why? And who are 2 people you like and respect the most and why? So I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to not only write down these questions, but also to answer them. So I'm going to just pause and you get to it. Okay, I'm going to give it about a minute more. So if you are feeling like you are struggling a little bit, let me know. Put something in the comments so that I can see that. But or I'm going to keep moving on. Okay, I'm going to give it about a minute more. Okay, so now you've probably thought through, right? You've identified what are some things that you like most about yourself and least, and who's the happiest person you know, and who do you like and respect? Well, all of this was to help you identify your list of top core values. Now, I know you probably thought, well, wait a minute, I was just kind of writing these questions out. It was really to get your mind in that mode of thinking. Okay. So, what I want you to think about is of these, I'm going to read some of these sample core values out here. And this is just a sample. It's not all inclusive. It's not all this. It must be on this list. You can create your own. But here are some examples of some core values that are most common. And I want you to think about your top 5. What's most important to you? Okay, so it could be family, it could be community, travel, faith, art, wealth, friendship, free time, learning, career, health, creativity, adventure, analytics, integrity, love. So take a quick moment and write down your 5. Okay, and if you want, you can write some in the chat box so we can find out what some of these are. Well, I'm going to share some of my core values. And the other key thing to note is that this may differ. It's a good thing to do at the beginning or end of every year because your core values may change from time to time. I know mine did this past year. For me, my core values are health, family, making a positive impact and legacy, adventure, and creativity. And, I know mine changed and the order definitely changed this past year. And you've got to check in with yourself from time to time. So I hope you'll revisit this and think about it for yourself, right? Think about some of those values that are important to you and what are guiding principles in your life. Okay. So the next, you want to understand your big why. So you've now have your goal. You've decided that, yes, I want to achieve this in this year. But now you've gotten some core values listed out. But let's check in. Does your goal align with your core values? You know how Simon Sinek in his book Start With Why, he always talks about, actually, you know what, it's funny. I'm actually reading Start With Why. Okay, I shouldn't say reading. I'm listening to on audio, on the audiobook, Start With Why. And it's all about how within all these corporations, the really successful ones all start with why. What's the meaning? Apple is one real clear example of this. So we need to think about why in our lives too, right? Why wouldn't it apply? Because when we think of why, what's most important to us? What's our values? What do we care about? And then we tie our goals to those values and to what we care about. Then we're more invested in achieving those goals, right? It's not something that's for someone else. It's it's something that goes to the core of who we are. That's how you get your values, right? That's the core of who you are. And it's some way that we can continue to better ourselves as well. So by the way, I know I mentioned the audiobook. What some folks are might have questions on that. What I do is one tactic that I use just to maximize my time is I listen to Audible, which is it's an app that you can buy. It's through Amazon, and it's actually free, but you purchase audiobooks. And what I do is I listen to books and read while I'm running errands or while I'm waiting anywhere, and it's just on my iPhone. And I got to tell you, I've started to read so many more books. So I'm going to encourage you to find other ways this year. If you haven't had opportunities, if your why is big enough, you'll find a way. And so that's one of the things for me is I wanted to learn more about how I could make a positive impact on people. And so I started reading business books. Well, not reading, listening to business books. And it's made such a difference. So, okay, so now let's jump into understanding your big why. Oops, there we go. Next page. Great. So what you want to do is here, you want to align your core value with your goal. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, my core value is to make a positive impact and leave a legacy to this world. That's a really important core value for me. It's, one that, as you can probably tell from my story earlier, really touches to the core of who I am. So for me, my goal this past year was to connect with my message, my message that you don't need to be, that you don't need to be overlooked anymore. There are a lot of great people out there who are, doing great at their jobs, but they're not getting promoted. They're not getting the praise they deserve. They're not, really progressing as quickly as they could because, maybe they're not as savvy politically, or they're not, somebody who wants to play the game. Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to teach people that there are other ways, severe ways to present themselves in corporate. And so one of the things I did this year was launch a workshop called Get Gravitas. And I know I met some of you from there, from my workshops of Get Gravitas. And it was all about the body language. How do we present ourselves to the world? The body language.
It's 7 o'clock.
Whoops, sorry about that. My computer just went off. But so Get Gravitas was a way for me to really share my message. And so the action here was for me to speak with groups. And so I went pretty big on this year. I went all in, and starting in April, I gave a speech at NYU Stern, which you'll see in the middle here, is my first presentation. And from that presentation, then I spoke at Caroline's, to a group of MBA students. I went and spoke to some charity events, to some nonprofits out in New York as well. I spoke in California and San Diego for a pharmaceutical company. I spoke to a whole bunch of engineers at another pharmaceutical company. I spoke at another business school, and I just kept growing my message and speaking. So these are just a few of the pictures from my goal from this year. And as you'll notice, I'm smiling pretty brightly in all of these. And it's because I was thrilled to be able to have that chance and opportunity to do it. When you align your goal with really, truly who you are, great things can happen. Great things. And so that's what I wish for you this year. Okay. Number 3, you're going to want to set your intention. Now, this is a big one. You want to set your intention because I'm sure if you're like a lot of people, like me, you've probably had New Year's resolutions before. You've probably, said this year will be different, but you probably didn't do anything. At least I didn't. So it's time to really decide, will this year, 2015, be different for you? And it's time to make a decision and decide that it will. and commit. So this is one of the reasons why I put this webinar here in December rather than in January, because I wanted to catch some of those early folks who are, I think the ones who really are committed to making change happen in 2015. And you're so committed that you come, when everybody's at holiday parties and not really in the mindset of planning for next year. You're here. So I want to give you big shout out, kudos for jumping on the call today. Really great job. But I want to also say you got to set your intention and commit and go all in. And so with that, I want you to make a decision and a commitment to your goal for next year. Decide, how will this year be different? What has changed or needs to change for you to reach your goal? And finally, this is a big and important one, okay? Who do you need to be to make your goal a reality? For me, and this is something I definitely want you to write these questions down in case you don't get a chance to answer all of them while we're on the call today. I want you to be able to write these questions down and really answer them for yourself. Take some time after this call to spend some time, really journaling on this. This is important. How will this year be different? What has changed, and what will need to change for you to reach your goal? And who do you need to be to make it happen? I know for me, when I was doing this exercise, I really thought about how I need to be a person of integrity to myself. I would run over hot coals for anyone else, but for myself, getting to the gym and spending the time to, work out, not so much. So I really needed to say that once I started saying, hey, it's committing to something and doing it and being that person of integrity for myself, that made things happen. And so the key thing here is to make a decision and commit. Number 4, you gotta believe. You gotta believe you can. And so with this, I think that the most important thing is, I'm actually just gonna go right into the slide. So let's just do that. You gotta picture it, right? If you don't know who this person is, this is Sophia Petrillo from Golden Girls, or the actress who portrays her. And whenever I think of, big picture vision or storytelling, I always think of Sophia Petrillo, from Golden Girls. And she always says, picture it, Sicily, 1920. And I want you to now take a moment and picture it for yourself. So what I'd like you to do is, I want you to now close your eyes. Okay, and so I'm going to be giving you a guided visualization here. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and I'm going to ask you to, I'm going to be asking questions aloud. No need to answer, just picture it in your mind. Okay, so sit down, put down any pen or pencil that you may have. And I want you to just get into a comfortable state. And I want you to think about rolling your shoulders back 3 times, just so that you feel comfortable. One more. Feet planted. And I want you to slowly close your eyes. And I want you to now take a deep breath. Breathe in one more time. And I want you to recognize the energy that you're feeling right now, all around you. And now you imagine yourself walking down a street. And you're just walking down this street. and you see some people up ahead, and they've got some bags in their hands, shopping bags, actually, quite a bit. And you keep walking, you say hello, and you keep walking. And now you encounter more people with shopping bags. And you hear some people talking and chatting and smiling and laughing. And you keep walking. And you hear some Christmas music playing in the background. But you keep walking, and then you come across some stores, and you see in the windows all the stores are decked out for the holidays. And as you keep walking down the street, you make eye contact with someone. And this person looks really familiar. And so you keep walking, and this person recognizes you too and waves and starts walking toward you. And as you start walking toward each other, this person starts becoming very familiar, even more familiar than you saw. And you recognize this person. And finally, this person's right in front of you. This is your future self. This is you 1 year from today. What do you notice about your future self? What does your future self look like? How is your future self standing? You smile at your future self, and you know what? They say, you know what? Let's move and let's get some hot cocoa. So you duck into a little store, little coffee shop, and get some hot cocoa with marshmallows. And over a cup of hot cocoa, you start to talk about the last year of your life and how it's been different for you. What's changed? Your future self talks about how you accomplished your big goal and starts to tell you about all of the changes that have happened in your life over the past year. What does your future self say? Your future self talks about your family and about all the people that have supported you. Who are they talking about? How did these folks support you? What did they do? As you sip your hot cocoa, you listen more and you find out all about the amazing things that you accomplished this year that were beyond your original goal. What did you accomplish? Well, you've sipped the last of your hot cocoa, and so is your future self. And your future self says, hey, it's time for me to go. You get up You give your future self a big hug. And they walk right outside the door. And they walk down the street. And you walk and you leave the store. And you walk in a different direction. You keep walking down the street, down the street, down the street, until you walk back to present. And when you're ready, I want you to slowly open your eyes. So this was just one way of visualizing your future. Your life can be dramatically different in 1 year. 1 year can change everything. But as we've talked about, you've got to decide if this is the right decision for you, if you want to make it a blockbuster, successful year for you, because it can be. You've got to decide if what you're willing to do and to change so that it's not one of those years that you look back on and with almost regret of what you could have done, of what could have been. Think about and write down in your notebook, what did your future self say you accomplished in this year? What did you accomplish in this past year based on your future self? What was different this year? What did your future self say that you had to accomplish, like that you had to change to make that goal a reality? What did your future self say, or who did your future self say was on your support team? I want you to realize that you can get in touch with that future self the way you felt. Just feel that emotion right now. How you felt seeing yourself. How did you look different? Did you look different? Was there anything that stood out to you? Remember, this time next year, you can be dramatically different in a positive way. You can accomplish the big goal that you want. If you get clear on what that goal is and how it's related and why it's important to you, and what changes need to occur to make that happen. You've identified the support that you need as well. So with that, we're going to move on to the next slide. It's all about building your success support team. So in this exercise, you had that vision, right? You had an idea of who should be on my support team, right? Your future self told you. So this is important because sometimes when we think about ourselves, we're making change, we always think about ourselves, but we don't think about, well, who's going to help me? The key thing is that you can't just do it yourself, right? If you just pushed it all on you, well, that's the old way of thinking, right? This is the 2.0 version. This is you, right? Remember, your future self is right a year ahead of you. So think about who can help you toward your goals, because it's a lot more fun to do it with people who support you. And you're going to need that support when times get tough, when you don't want to do your goal, when you don't want to go to the gym, or you don't want to, write your, updated resume, right? When you don't want to, whatever your goal is, it's going to be tough. There's going to be some friction there, and you need the support. So brainstorm. So take a moment in your journal and write down who in the next year is going to help you get to your goal. Take a moment and brainstorm. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving on here. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. Next slide. Yep. Okay, thanks. I want you to build your success team. Now, I've already talked about, this is an optimal success team that I'm recommending to you, but you can really build your success team any way you want. This is one version of it, but it really is dependent upon you. Okay. So the first is, I would recommend you get a coach, someone who has some area of expertise in this realm or this area. So whatever your goal is, say you're a health coach, say that you're looking to, shed some pounds. You probably want to reach out to, say, a trainer or to a health coach, somebody who can advise and give some counsel to you. If you want to change your career or switch careers or advance further in your career, well, then you definitely want to reach out to a career coach. And I'm a career coach, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You also want to rely on your family. And I know that sounds like, I should be able to do this myself. I'm the mom or I'm the dad, and I should be the one leading. But sometimes the leaders need support too. That's why it's important to reach out to your family and let them know that you're going to be doing this type of work. You've got this goal and you really want to accomplish it. Let them know that not only do you want to accomplish it, but why, and why it's important to you. The why factor is important when you're trying to make the case for why you may need more time alone. Why you may not be able to, pick up the kids from Little League, or, why you may need some time to eat healthier. You got to give them the why too, and tell them why it's important. Finally, you want to introduce your friends too. Now, I think these are the core, the foundation. Don't forget your friends. Your true friends are going to be the ones that support you no matter what. And they're also going to be the ones that say, hey, I thought you wanted to stop drinking so much. Why are you out drinking today? Maybe we'll go for a walk instead. They're going to be the ones that they're going to be your friendly nudgers. So enlist them. Finally, I think there are some other secondary support networks. Like, find a mentor, someone who's a little further down the road than you, somebody who maybe has, maybe you want to get promoted at work. Well, find somebody who's in that role who can kind of guide your path for you. I think that's going to be very important, because you can then see day to day that, wow, okay, well, if she or he can do it, so can I. Why not? Enlist your work colleagues. You spend a lot of time at work, and it's hard not to, when you're going after a goal, not to enlist some people, some colleagues. Now, if you're going to be switching careers, probably not the best thing to tell people, well, hey, I'm going to be switching careers. Can you help me? Not maybe at work, but you may want to reach out to people if, say, you're trying to eat healthier, and you may want to just ask if, hey, maybe the cookie jar is not on your desk, and it shouldn't be, by the way. You don't want no food on your desk. It's one of my tips from my Facebook page. Remember, you want to always make sure that I have a daily success column on my Facebook page with all these success tips. And one of them was don't ever put the candy dish on your desk because it tells people that your desk is for socializing and not for work. Even though, and plus then you're going to be eating up all those delicious candies. And at least that's what I would do. Okay, so now online. That's another way. Reach out to people online to get the support. That's another great way to connect. Okay. So I've listed some ideas here. Obviously, work with what you know and what's best for you. The most important thing here is to live your life on purpose. Okay, so live your life on the purpose that you want. Whatever your mission is. Like I mentioned earlier, my mission is to change 1 million lives by the year 2020. Well, I'm living my life on purpose. And until I hadn't found my purpose, what I was really meant to do, it was kind of hard to just, find that true happiness. Now, I want each and every one of you to have that happiness. So I encourage you to really go after your dreams in 2015. No holds bars. Find that one goal for yourself and go after it full-heartedly, right? Get the support you need. So along those lines, I want to give each of you a little thank you from me. I want to offer each of you a complimentary career breakthrough session with me before December 31st. And the goal of this workshop, even if you've met with me before, you definitely can qualify for this. All I want is to help you plan out your 2015. That's it. Because I know that for you to get to that next level, have that really, really, truly successful 2015, you got to have a plan. You got to have a strategy. We didn't cover all that today, but there's a lot that goes into it. And I'd love the opportunity to help you craft it, help you push you and nudge you on the way, help you be part of my million. So if you're interested and if you'd like to schedule some time with me, I only do this for people who are in my community. So you've got to be signed up. You've got to be on my list. So what that means is you've got to be regularly getting emails from me. The last one was about the Golden Girls and gratitude, and then the last one was about with gratitude in the holidays. So if you didn't get that, then you are not on my distribution list, and I encourage you to sign up. Okay, and how you do that is hold on one second. Sorry about that. How you do that is you can go to coachbina.com, and then there's a success tips right there on the main page. Sign up there with your name and email, and then check your inbox and say that'll say an email from me that says confirm your subscription. And you open that email up, you click on the link inside, and then you're in. Okay. So how do you want to sign? Once you're a member of my community, all you do is go to bit.ly/coach with Bina. So bit.ly/coach with Bina, BEENA. And there's no spaces or anything like that associated with it. So write this down in your notebook. Even if you've met with me before and you are thinking, I hope she doesn't mind. Don't worry, I don't mind. I want to help you plan for your best 2015. Okay. I do ask that it's before the 31st because my calendar next year is getting a little crazy, but that's a good thing, right? And so please do sign up. And finally, if you know of an opportunity for me to help, come speak to your group, or if you know of an organization that I can help and support, please do let me know. Reach out to me, send me a note. And also I would ask that you connect with me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, on social media. All of my connection points are on my coachbina.com website at the very bottom. And I would love to connect with you and to give you some of more support and guidance. I wish you guys all the best. And if you have any questions, I'm going to open up it for questions right now. But with that, I want to say thank you, and I hope to hear from you soon. So I'm going to open up and go into the coaching area right now. Let's see, here we go. Whoops. Okay, sorry. Just give me 1 second and I'll be right there, guys. Sorry for the delay. Just having a little bit of something technical. Okay, hopefully this will work and I'll be in there too. Okay. Well, it looks like there is no one. It looks like there are no. Okay. Whoops. Sorry about that. It looks like there are no more no questions in the chat. If you do have a question, please let me know. It looks like most people are dropping off right now, which is fine. That's totally okay. But it looks like there's no questions. So thank you guys, and I wish you all the best. If you do want to reach out or do want to schedule that time with me, just go to bit.ly/coach with Bina. Okay. Thanks for joining me today and look forward to hearing from you guys. Happy holidays. Take care. Bye.